up to the boys. Fox and Shane, set your minds free, no locks and chains. Do what you love, roll the dice. 50-50, we cold as ice. One thing cold, but the penny turn red. Can't let that shit be in my head, war gaming.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Hobby Homies. We are your weekly tabletop podcast. I am Shane, dying of asthma. As always, hanging out with Fox.
Hello, I don't have asthma.
And Churchy.
Howdy.
Today we are taking a look at 5 leagues from the Borderlands, second time round.
That's right. They say second time's the charm. And we are matching, dude. Like, I just realized we're both wearing black things with text on them.
Yep.
And then you're wearing blue, which is basically grey.
It's a type of grey.
And we both got our legs crossed oppositely. So for those listening,
It's very zen.
you are hearing unity.
Yep.
And an equilibrium
Yep.
of sorts. But we're talking about 5 leagues
We are.
from the Borderlands.
Yep.
And I want to apologize in advance for all the times I accidentally say 5 parsecs
It's going to
instead.
happen. So let's get a counter going.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let us know
Take
in
a
the
shot
comments.
and every time I say parsecs.
Don't do that. You'll be paralytic.
By
Maybe
the 5 minute
a
mark.
sip of your beer.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
your coffee or whatever you're drinking. But we did a brief look into 5 leagues from the Borderlands back in season 4, episode 29. It was sort of a look at the game as a whole. We hadn't actually played a game.
Correct.
It was just us comparing the rules to things we were familiar with from 5 parsecs from home. And things we
Said 5
loved.
parsecs.
Intentionally.
You also said a brief look. That was an hour of us talking about a game we had never played before.
It was probably 15 minutes of us talking about a game we never played before and 45 minutes of us waffling.
Yeah, that's true, as is tradition.
Yep.
That's why we've cut our episodes down, so you can listen to less waffle.
Yeah, or same amount of waffle, less...
Content? Yeah, that's great.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Same content, less waffle.
So we did. We talked about. We did. We entered the Waffle House and we did what we do. But we talked about 5 Leagues, 3rd edition.
Yep.
Which is a Nordic Weasel game produced by Modifius.
Yeah.
And this is the first edition of the game that's been actually published as a professional product, I would say.
Ivan's always self-published his first and second editions of even 5 parsecs from home. He's got a couple others as well. 5 clicks from the Zone, I think, is off the top of my head, which is like a post-apocalyptic one. 5 Men from Kursk or something. I think it's like a World War II inspired one.
Yeah.
There's heaps.
There is heaps.
There's heaps 5X from Wise.
And there's heaps of other games that he's done as well.
Oh, yeah.
Weasel Tech,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Yeah.
And different iterations of these titles.
Yeah.
So for those sitting there going, what is 5 Leagues? Well, how did you even find us?
Yeah, you lost.
Why are you here? Welcome
Thank you for joining.
welcome to the Falcon's Arms Tavern.
Yep.
5 Leagues is a solo and or cooperative, miniature agnostic storytelling war game.
Adventure.
That is a good
Adventure
word.
war game. Yep.
So thank you for adventuring into the deep unknown of the internet and finding us.
Yep.
While we talk about an adventure game.
It's kind of like an RPG you can run by yourself. It's got elements from Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And brings it into a tabletop war game, which we are familiar with.
Yeah.
Most of us.
And it's a fantasy based
Fantasy
one.
inspired. Yep. With, magic and swords and shields and bows and arrows and
Yeah.
stuff. I believe it's in the low fantasy setting.
Sure.
Kind of like that, maybe like Lord of the Rings-esque.
Yeah.
It would fit nice. Like, it's not incredibly high fantasy.
Yeah, it's not like Age of Sigma universe.
Yeah.
Bolts of stuff everywhere type thing.
Yeah.
Although the good thing about these systems is it's a platform for you to create your story. So if you want to play it as high fantasy, I love that you totally can. You just load everyone up as mystics.
Yep.
And away you go. But yeah, so we're going to talk less about, I guess, what 5 Leagues is as a whole on this episode, because like Shane said,
We've already done it.
Season 4, episode 29.
We don't recycle content here.
We would never.
No.
Although this is our second episode on 5 Leagues.
But it's different.
This one's just like a chocolate milkshake, only crunchy.
Yep.
Yeah, slightly crunchier.
Slightly crunchier.
So Shane, why? So the last episode we did on it was 7 months ago.
Yep.
That was when it was sort of first released, I believe.
It wasn't long out, yeah.
Or
Yep.
was it? I don't know if the hard copy was actually even out yet.
It may have not been in stores. It may have been just out for digital.
Correct. Yeah, there was that time where you could get it digitally, and it was like it's coming soon
Yep.
to stores, and that's when we sort of got our hands on the digital rulebook, went
Yeah.
through it, and did an episode on it. Why do you think, personally, for you, it has taken so long? Because this episode is because we've just played our first campaign turn.
Yep.
Why do you think it took you so long to get into it?
I think at the time we were elbow deep into 5 parsecs from home, and being a game that's in the same vein. Although now that we've played it, I'm finding more and more things different about it than parsecs, but there are still similarities. Like it's not a copy and a reskin. It's so much more to it than that. But there are very things where it's like, okay, yeah, that runs like this does in parsecs. Oh, that's a bit different. But like, I think it's just like having us playing so much parsecs at the time.
Yeah.
Then we were sort of doing our campaign battle reports and everything like that. It was like, I just need something different.
Yeah. Okay.
Plus it was like Christmas and the move and
life.
We got busy.
Life finds a way
Somehow. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, and do you think? I know it was my perception that this. In my mind, I was like, 5 Leagues is just like the fantasy reskin of parsecs. And so that was a large deterrent for me because I was like, well, I'm already playing parsecs a lot. We have had a campaign going for it.
Yeah.
I've got the miniatures, the enemies. I've invested a lot into learning the rules and stuff. I feel like to get my brain over into something that's a carbon copy but just fantasy is like, I'm just playing the same game, but all the progress I've made with parsecs is moot,
Yeah, and I feel like it's easy to think that it is a carbon copy without looking in more depth to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I similar thing for me, I think, as for you.
I also originally, and we'll talk about later some of the things we have been pleasantly surprised because you're right, it's not a copy paste.
Nah.
It's got a lot of extra layers to it, and things that surprised me every time. I was like, oh, I guess everything. These things might be different, but the combat's probably going to be exactly the same as parsecs. So different.
That's the best part about it, dude.
It's refreshingly different.
Yeah. It's like, let's
talk about it now. Yeah.
I was like, okay, like so you can't kit out all your models with bows. It's from the start, right?
Sure.
You have to. You can only give, I think, like one a bow, and then the rest of them have to be melee weapons. But like,
I think 2 can have
maybe 2
ranged weapons. Yeah.
But I was like, oh, okay, all right, cool, no worries, that's fine. Melee it is, and then like the people with the models with bows operate first, unlike like for the enemies.
Yeah.
But I resolved the combat for the bow, and I'm like, okay, cool. It's like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
I missed. Done. That's it. Game over. I'm like, okay. All
so
right.
I would say that element is very similar to parsecs, right? The shooting,
it really is.
The shooting is almost copy paste.
Yeah.
It's like shoot them, roll, add your combat skill. If you haven't moved, that's the different thing there, I suppose.
Yep.
And then it's the same hit rolls as parsecs. It's a 3+. Yeah. Anyways,
toughness.
Yeah.
And they do have armor in this, but But then and then it was like, all right, let's do the melee combat now. And I'm like, oh, there's exchanges.
Yes.
It's like a duel between these 2 models. Like one is the attacker, one is the defender, and then you roll off, and then if the defender wins, then they become the attacker.
Yep.
And you go again, and you have 3 separate exchanges in the one combat phase.
It's like one big combat between 2 models, and like you said, you got the 3 different almost phases, it feels like. Although there's like preliminary phases where you pick which weapon you're going to fight with.
Yep, which tactic.
What tactic you're going to use.
Like defensive stance, aggressive stance.
Yep. It's very cool.
Oh, there is so much. Like the combat is like 4 pages of rules.
Yeah.
Just for the melee section.
Yeah.
And it's like, but it's not like overbearing with rules. It's like, this is the way you do it. And once you've done it a couple of times, it all makes sense and it's easy to sort of run. But like, you might not have those 3 exchanges. You might land a hit on the first exchange and then that combat's done.
Yeah, for sure.
And that will either take out the enemy or they'll block it or they'll parry it or whatever.
And there's the ability to parry if you've got weapons that can do it. But there's also counter strike if one person's got the higher ground or one person's on
in between them.
Yeah. So there were. I remember I was playing the game just sort of on my couch on my coffee table.
Yep.
Really chill. Just sort of like I did. I shot a few things with bows, and then I was like, I did the same thing. Rolled into combat, And I was like, all right, let's do combat. Oh, wait. How does combat work? I know how it works in parsecs.
Yeah.
Let me just refresh what I read months ago. And then I was like, I remember sitting up in my chair and going, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
There's a bit more going on here.
Yeah,
and it's what it needs because, in parsecs, it's a sci-fi game. So it's all shooting and throwing grenades and that cool element. And there's a little bit of melee.
Yeah.
But this is a fantasy game. So the emphasis is there. It's in the melee combat.
Oh, yeah.
That's where it's going to happen with your swords and shields and war spears. And So it's great that they've added all that extra depth to combat. I love it. Yeah.
Oh, so good. I just frothed it when I found out how actually deep it was. It's like, yes.
Yeah.
And getting around this.
The armor as well, like you said, that's an extra mechanic, a whole extra mechanic that's in there.
Yeah.
That just makes it feel super important. And armor in this is done really well because it's a slim chance that the armor is going to save you from a deadly blow.
It's a low save.
Yeah, it's a very low save.
Low save.
You're basically hitting, odds-wise, on 5s and 6s to try and save it.
Yeah.
In terms of typical wargaming.
Yeah.
But it doesn't quite work like that. But you'll find that out.
But it comes down to a 1 or 2 of the dice roll. So, which is awesome. I like the wound mechanic where if you fail the armor save but pass the toughness save, this hit still goes through and you become stunned or wounded.
Yes.
And then if you take another one, then you're out.
2 wounds equals death in this.
Yeah.
It's a nice little change. Everything dies much easier.
Yes.
Because I believe in parsecs it was 3 wounds.
3 on the 3rd stun or wound.
Yeah. 3. Yeah, that's right. 3rd stun.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Is it 2 stuns you die in this?
Yeah.
Yeah. 1 wound or 2 stuns.
Yeah.
Like if you take the wound. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool. I liked so much more about this after playing through the first campaign turn than I thought I would.
Yep.
Like, I knew it was going to be great. Even if it was just a copy and paste of parsecs to leagues, sci-fi to fantasy.
Yep.
That would have been enough to make me want to play because I love parsecs.
Yeah.
And I also love the fantasy setting.
Yeah, definitely.
But what made me regret not playing it sooner was things like the combat.
Yep.
Things like, I loved how, in parsecs, sorry that we make that comparison. It's our touchstone, like Shane said.
Yeah.
But in the sci-fi version, which we've played multiple times, there's a handful, maybe 6 things you can make your crew members do. Trade, explore, whatever.
Yep.
In this, it feels like there's pages of things you can do, and it depends on where you are.
Yeah.
Whether you're in camp, just camping out with your homies in the middle of the wilderness or whatever.
Or in town.
Or some apply to either.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just a list of these, lots of things you can do. There's the travel in this game happens every turn.
Yeah.
Not every time you go to a new planet, which might be every 6, 7 plus turns.
As long as you want.
It's every time you want to go from where you are to anywhere else.
Yep.
Basically, you roll a travel roll and that events happen and So it feels like there's just more stuff happening. When stuff does happen, it's got more depth to it.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's better than parsecs. I'll let you decide.
It's got its place, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that it feels like the type of thing that has learned from and grown from the success of parsecs.
Definitely. Yeah. I'd like to sit down and compare some differences between 2nd edition and 3rd edition of 5 Leagues to see how much has developed and, like you said, whether Ivan has taken, things he's learned from parsecs and just improved on them.
Yeah.
And then, can we see a 4th edition parsecs in the future where they, take from 5 Leagues and improve on that? Is it something that will just continue to improve upon each other?
Yeah, for sure.
And there's room for that,
Absolutely. And I think he is incredible at doing that, Ivan.
Oh, yeah.
Because all the parsecs expansions that have come out since the Modiphius published edition.
Yep.
All of those expansions have just added exactly in my head what I've said. This game really needs this.
Yep.
I feel like if this game just had this, and then these expansions just add it all. And I'm like, he obviously listens to a lot of feedback. Their Discord's fantastic with people giving feedback, playing the games. Speaking of Discords, check out ours.
Yes.
We've got 5 Leagues and 5 parsecs channels. Yeah,
we do. We do. We absolutely do. Yep.
So individual channels for those 2 games.
Yep.
And we have our resident Parsecs and Leagues player, David.
Yes,
Axe.
Anax. You guys will be familiar with him if you're around the Nordic Weasel scene. He's all over everything Nordic Weasel.
Yeah, he's amazing.
yeah.
And he'll be able to tell us exactly. He'll be like, oh, actually, it's less of a growth from Parsecs learning things at third ed and more of a growth from second ed, 5 leagues to third ed.
Oh, yeah.
Here are the things that have changed. He's, in fact, just playing his first campaign turns for the third edition of 5 leagues.
Yeah. He wanted to finish second edition.
Love that.
Which is commitment.
Yeah.
Good on him.
I would be like, oh, there's a new edition?
Yeah.
What? yeah, 100%. So that's very cool.
Yeah.
So we'd love to have you in there chatting about these two games. If you're new, we've got a community there that'll teach you everything you need to know.
Oh, yeah, such a friendly, welcoming community as well. So
yeah, except for when Shane's in there, but
it's not much.
You can
lately.
hide from him. Yeah,
been pretty busy. Sorry, guys. It's got a lot of shit going on. You know how it is.
You know how it is.
You know how it is. Everyone's got shit.
You'll get it. So, tell me about your because I actually know nothing about your warband.
You know, Diddly
Squat.
Diddly.
And if we talked about warbands and the idea, because I think I mentioned on season 4, episode 29, the last time we did 5 leagues, I think I mentioned what I wanted to do for a warband. Scrap all that.
Scrap it.
Same for you?
Well, I can't remember.
Yeah, okay.
But
we've started again in our own minds.
But I did briefly mention what I wanted to do about a 5 leagues warband when one of the new Underworlds warbands came out. Mm-hmm. So I went and did it.
Tell me everything. I want to know everything. Tell me everything.
So I've got a bit of a fluff here.
Good.
It's like 3 little paragraphs. So, the realm of Eshmar had once been a vibrant land rich in life and abundant resources. Here, magic flowed like a river and all life was connected.
It was luscious.
It was beautiful. But it did not take long for men to discover this land. They brought with them plague, disease, and war.
Classic.
As their empires rose, the connection between earth and magic dwindled. Rivers dried, forests burned, and mountains were hollowed out for their jewels.
Colonizers.
The land fought back, but it was no match for the fires of war. And quickly as the light vanishes from a dying candle, life and death traded places.
Ooh.
Barren wastelands and poisonous swamps covered most of Eshmar. The sky choked with smog and sun obscured by thick black clouds. Tombs of great warriors, which for centuries had been only disturbed by a raven or a mouse, now creaked and groaned. Chains and shackles rusted by time itself, and the horrific remains of these fallen heroes were to battle once more.
Zombies!
Eshmar, its memory all but faded, except for the scattered tomes which lay upon the floor of ancient libraries, now known simply as the Ageless Realms, to any soul who dare set foot upon the ports of these crumbling cities. But many ships do not dock here and will return to their port of origin. However, the ones that do, by desperation or foolhardily adventurers seeking fame and treasure, have never returned.
Wow.
So basically,
ChatGPT just dominated that. No,
it didn't.
It's written by yours truly. Thank you.
I should have the AI written that.
Yeah.
Good. Anyway, so basically, everything that was alive is now dead, and everything that was dead is now alive.
Yeah,
so,
that's cool.
Skeletons. It's a world of undead everything.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So how did you tie that in with the enemy selection? You know how you pick 3 threats?
I haven't really done that yet.
Yeah, that's fine.
I just played what is it called? It's called like the
starter mission type thing.
I did the starter mission, yeah, but
sweet.
The enemies, what is it called? The faceless.
Oh yeah.
Something. I don't know. It's like that's the enemy from afar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which is kind of like the
ruins without. No, wait, I'm thinking of something else. Yeah.
Which is kind of like because there's only this land that's really been affected. The rest of the world still remains the same, but
right,
it's other colonies and other factions of normal humans and normal alive people coming to the land.
Sure.
So yeah.
Sure. Undead Whispers from Beyond was undead. I don't know if you used that.
No,
okay.
It was just like the
whatever.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah. Cool.
I put more effort into like the backstory than I did actually setting the mission up. I made a map and everything like that.
Oh, dope. Yeah, I think that's cool too. I think you did it the right way. I feel like if you write a story and have an idea of what you want to achieve with the campaign, you can bend it to your will.
Yeah.
You know? Because now you will be like, I want a story where my people have to conquer the undead.
Yeah.
And go in and restore life into these towns.
Well, my warband are actually undead. But they're trying to figure out what happened.
Oh,
so
wow.
the faction, my little warband is called the Orders Blade. So they were knights. They were like sort of elite knights of the Order, and they'd been killed in combat or they died of old age or whatever.
Yeah.
And now they've come back alive again and they're not happy.
Yeah, they're not happy.
They were happy in the afterlife.
Yeah,
and now they're back on this stinking rock.
planet.
Yeah.
So are they still like if they used to be honourable knights that died? Is that they're not?
They're not mindless undead. They still have that, and all of them do. It's not just a world full of zombies. Everyone has their memories and have their the knights that the soldiers that have been killed fighting for one faction.
Yeah.
Are now back again, and they're still fighting for that faction.
Yeah, okay.
So they're fighting against their ancient rivals, and things like that. Like
very cool. It's almost like if you just took the past and present and reversed them almost, like you're bringing these people from the past that have died, putting them in the present land.
Yeah.
And I mean, all the present people are dead, right? Or dying. Are they still there?
Oh, no, they're all dead.
Okay.
They're all dead. So it's like everyone that has died is now back again.
Yeah, and everyone that was alive.
Skeletal horror.
Yeah,
and everyone that was alive, I don't know, got snapped by Thanos.
Done, gone. And now these
I haven't
people
thought
are
that
like,
far ahead yet.
Well, you don't need to. It's less that you've thought it through. It's more that your warband hasn't discovered what's going on yet.
Exactly.
So, and you are an avatar. You're just playing your character well.
Exactly.
Method acting.
Sir Shaaz.
Sir Shaaz of Wazza.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome, dude. That's a cool story.
Yeah. I just like, I was thinking the other day, I'm like, imagine, like if like, what would happen if like the dead were no longer dead, and like, I didn't want just like mindless zombies. I wanted it to like have like, some sort of like sense of like what's happened and like most of them don't care. They're just like, we got to fight these guys because that's what we did.
Yeah. Oh shit! It's those guys we hate.
Yeah, exactly.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
So doesn't matter what era it's in.
All these soldiers that are fighting these ancient battles again, but like my warband is kind of like, hang on a minute, what's going on here?
Hang on, let's just have a second think.
We've all just come out of a tomb.
Do we care about what's happened?
I have no muscle and no skin on my bones. What's going on here?
Yeah. Hang on a minute. I think I might be dead, and I feel like we don't need to fight anymore. I think it's actually see how everything's completely different. I feel like that's some sort of clue. Maybe we should track onto that. Yeah, I like that. That's very cool. And also, I like that you're playing. Your warband is the undead. You're playing as the zombies. The zombies are the good guys.
Yeah.
That never happens. Imagine The Walking Dead from the zombies' perspective. Would be kind of boring, but imagine. Yeah. Cool. I like it, dude.
Thanks, man.
I had, I guess, something. I wouldn't say similar, but I went with the classic cliche that I guess we both fell into accidentally, which is zombies. No. It's like again, a nice vibrant world. I wouldn't say vibrant. I would just say an operational world. Previously.
Yeah.
But then, and there was a forest at the time that they called something that I need a better name for. Let's just call it.
What's the current name for it?
It's a placeholder name, by the way. Don't judge me. It's the Dead Forest. Sorry.
It's all right.
It's okay.
It's accurate.
And the forest isn't actually dead, but what's
inaccurate.
in it is
wrong.
dead. Yeah.
Okay.
So like there's like a poisonous void of sorts that no one really understands, but they've known that as long as they don't touch it, they don't play with it, nothing happens.
Stay away.
Something went wrong.
Yep.
And the void came out and engulfed the land, and out of it is coming ghouls and all these creatures that are just they're soulless.
Yep.
And so they think that forest was maybe like a gateway to the Hades of sorts.
Yep.
Where the soulless go. Yeah. And so now they've come out. Anyways, they've spread through the lands, and they're on a fruitless endeavor to eat and consume the living creatures throughout the universe.
So fruitless is like a pun there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Fruitless because it's meat. Yeah. But also because they're trying to consume people's souls, which obviously you can't do. And no matter how many they consume, they're never going to get a soul.
Yeah.
But they're kind of just wired like that.
Yeah.
And then there are also the cultists that worship them because they can forego death by joining forces with these soulless, not undead, but soulless creatures.
Okay, yeah.
And so they also worship them. They think they are gods.
Yeah.
Because they're don't have souls, so therefore they're also immortal. And they promise and they do rituals and stuff. Anyways, down on the other end of the realm
Yep.
is this tiny small forest that also was thought to be another dead forest. Because when people got to the entrance, they saw the same sort of like void-like mist, and if people went in, they never came out, etc., etc.
Yeah. Bad place.
Bad place.
Yeah.
But it was a smaller forest, more quiet. But what was actually going on inside is there was these little forest sprites, these little spirits of the forest, little tiny little characters, based purely on the miniatures that I had.
Yeah.
Which is these adorable little forest sprites.
I think I've seen them. They have like leaves on their face and stuff like that.
Yeah, they do. They have like these little cute little masks. They're probably like, they're 28mm scale, but they're as tall as a 15mm scale miniature.
Oh, yeah.
They're doing adorable things, like one's holding a skull, but it's like holding it up like it's a gift for someone. It's like, hey, I found this skull.
It's like, this is pretty sick.
Yeah. So it's a forest of these forest sprites that are imbued with magic and can do quite useless magic. But
Useless?
well,
I'm sure if I could do any magic, even if it was like, I don't know, turn the lights off.
if you could turn the lights off, that'd be sweet.
Yeah,
It's more telekinesis and less magic, obviously.
Summon a light.
Summon a light. No, that'd be cool. We need more, actually. And so they're imbued with magic, but it's not like all powerful magic. Anyways, they're trapped in this forest just by a few soulless ghouls that sit on the perimeter that are keeping them in.
Okay.
Because these soulless ghouls have been tasked with keep the forest sprites in, because if they ever get out into the world and make their way up north or whatever, we might have problems. If they figure it out how powerful they actually are, we might have problems. And so the forest sprites are trapped in there. And so what they've done over the years is try and figure out ways to get out. One is the most recent and most successful one has been finding little forest mice, using their magic to turn them into larger bipedal humanoid mice. And they did that maybe like 15 years ago, and they've taught them to fight. And now
they've risen an army.
They've risen a tiny warband, which is my warband of humanoid mice. And so it's 4 mice, and 2 of my followers are forest sprites.
Yeah, cool.
And so whenever my my own little house rules are, if ever one of my people die, I can sacrifice 2 of the forest sprites to bring them back.
Okay, cool.
And then my followers.
Yeah.
The rules say followers should always be humans or are always humans, but I'm like, no.
They can use a human stat line. It can be,
exactly.
It can be whatever. Yeah.
And I wrote their weapons as standard weapons in brackets skull. And for that skull one, and the other one, which is just standing there, just like hands by its side, stunned. It's standard weapon in question, and then just question marks. It's like, what does it use? It fights. It does damage.
Somehow it does damage.
And it's maybe like, I didn't want to make it a mystic, but I was like, it's sort of a magical something.
Like you said, it can be a magic that's just so mundane that means they can like throw a rock at someone. Or
exactly,
like
and it just slightly more impact than a regular rock in melee range. So that's cool. And if they die, I can always travel back to the forest, fight some soulless on the way in, and get more followers of these forest sprites. That's how I replenish my followers in my mind.
Cool.
So that's my little excuse to use 4 cool mice models. And 2 of these little forest sprites as followers.
And they are very cool. Are they Lord of the Print?
Lord of the Print. I forget.
Are the sprites the same?
Yes. Yeah, all Lord of the Print. In fact, this whole game for me is Lord of the Print. The ghouls are vampire bat things. So my first fight was actually the starter fight was to get out of the forest.
Oh, so you did the intro mission?
Intro mission where it's like use 3 miniatures, or use 7,
and then set up 4 enemies in a line.
I did that, but with 7 enemies.
Oh yeah,
and sort of turn that. Did I turn their stats up? I think I gave them 1 more toughness than what it said. Oh no, I made them faster because they got wings. That was my battle, and it was like, it made sense because your first battle or your first campaign turn is sort of to get to the map. It's like you're just entering this new area. And so I was like, well, that makes sense because I'm coming out of the forest, trying to get out, beat those ghouls out, get out. And so the campaign for them is obviously just trying to fight back the void, the soulless, and all the cultists and etc.
Awesome. Sounds awesome.
Yeah, so I like our stories, dude.
Yeah, very cool. if you guys want to follow along, I'm sure we'll be posting some stuff in the 5 Leagues channel in the Discord.
Yeah, big time.
So make sure you join that. Links on hobbyhomies.com.
And if you like this, we'll be doing more episodes on our campaign turns in the coming whenevers.
Yeah.
When we play them, we'll talk about them.
Set time period.
Yeah, that's it.
But it's going to be more
7 months from now.
No, maybe 6 months.
Maybe 6 months. We'll keep it more frequent.
Hopefully more frequent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like after playing, I just played through the intro mission. Just killed some. I just had zombie proxies.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
I guess it's more undead that are not happy about not fighting their ancient enemies.
They're like,
So
we got to fight you. And you're like, do we have to do this? And they're like, we have to do this. Yeah. All right, I'll humour you.
Just humour us, would you?
Yeah.
So I did that, and it was a lot of fun. But yeah, hope you guys are enjoying 5 League stuff.
Yeah. Follow along with us and our journey and start your own.
Yeah.
Like Shane said, jump in the Discord and tell us about it.
Yep.
If you don't know where to start or you're a little bit confused, I found it a little bit difficult to get into. Like I found navigating the rules a little bit difficult at times.
Yeah.
At one part, it's like, if this is your first playthrough, skip to the travel step. So you skip 30 pages of rules to get to the travel step. And then it's like, yeah, cool, do these things.
Yeah.
And then I rolled this thing and it was like, all right, skip now to this section. I'm like, another 30 pages later. And it's like, now you're fighting. And this is your fight. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, who am I fighting against?
Yeah. Go back up to the...
Go back up. It's like page 177. I'm like, go all the way back down there. All right, that's who I'm fighting. But like, how many do I roll? I don't really understand. So I kind of just went, I'll go back and do the starter mission.
Yeah.
Because I'm too lost right now.
Yep. There is so much of that going between pages, even with 5 parsecs, it's like,
for sure.
Here's the core rules, here's the equipment tables, here's the background tables. Like everything is laid out really well, but it's never the next page that you need. It's always 30 pages back or 30 pages forward.
And it's how you have to lay out the book.
It really is. There's I'm sure they would have spent so much time trying to figure it out. And obviously they've come down to the best way to do it.
Yeah.
It's just, I guess it's just me nitpicking about something. But like,
me too. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And you're right. I remember parsecs being pretty similar in that regard.
Yeah.
And this because it has more rules and it's a little bit more weighty. There's more of that. So jump in the Discord. Don't be scared to be like, hey, I just don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
I don't know how this rule works. We're not the kind of people that are going to be like, oh, you should have read the rules. It's on page 166. We don't expect you to read 250 pages before you even throw down your first game. You're excited. You just want to get in it. That was my attitude.
Yeah, bloody oath.
I'm like, as minimal reading as possible.
Yep.
I'll learn as I go.
I hate reading rules.
Oh.
It's the worst.
Oh. Yuck. That's why we play one-page rules.
Exactly.
There is no rules.
So
and if there is
3 attempts at a battle report for Rangers before us.
Yeah. You're like, okay, I think I get it. I think it's called Ranges of Shadow Deep. Yeah.
Oh, Shadow Deep is one word. Okay,
I've been saying Shadow Deep, but it's Shadow Deep.
Yeah. Anyway.
4th time. Yeah.
Thanks, guys, for watching. Massive shout out to our patrons. Without you guys, we wouldn't be making this all possible.
We wouldn't want to. We hate this. You keep us here.
As always, we've got Burnsy, Final Dinosaur, Lethal, Gridlock, Axe, Annex, MJ, Whack the Ewok, Test, and Black Apollo.
We've also got, rest up, Black Apollo. Hope you're feeling well.
Yeah, true.
We've also got Moose, Alco, Churchy. Thanks, Churchy. We've got Rad, Ollie, Hockers, Penny, Aggro, Don Don, and Big Roach. I'm seeing in a week to watch Weird Al Yankovic live at Melbourne with.
Nice.
Yeah. So thank you, Big Roach.
Hell yeah.
For the tick, and I'll see you soon. And we'll see the rest of y'all in the Discord.
Check out hobbyhomies.com for links to all this stuff. Binge with the breakdown. Make sure you like and subscribe to the video and the channel if you can. And we'll see you guys next time.
Also, just quickly, check out Churchy on YouTube. Check out Churchy Music.
All these channels.
All his channels, which you'll find on. Can they find that on Churchy, your main channel?
Yeah.
Soon.
Soon.
We'll throw links. Shane will throw links in the description for
There's
all of
already
that.
links to Churchy in there.
You'll find more links. Yeah. Got some absolute bangers on the music channel, so suss those out. Royalty free. Toodles.
Over.
Big up to the boys, Fox and Shane. Set your minds free, no locks and chains. Do what you love, roll the dice. 50-50, we cold as ice. One thing cold.